Namaskar. Now we will be discussing the second part of the unit Dastika and Nastika divisions of Indian philosophy, that is, the Nastika schools. The philosophical schools, which do not believe in the authority of the Vedas, are known as the Nastika schools. Sarvaka, Jaina, and Buddha are the three Nastika schools of Indian philosophy. Let us discuss the philosophical ideas of the schools in brief. Sarvaka system. The Sarvaka system is one of the Nastika or heterodox or non-Vedic systems of Indian philosophy. Regarding the founder of this system, there are different opinions. Some say that there was a sage named Sarvaka who founded this system, and the followers of the system are called the Sarvakas. According to some other, Vasashvati, the teacher of the gods, propounded this system. Sarvaka system is also called Lokayat, which means the view of common people because it is popular among the common people. According to the Sarvaka, perception is the only source of valid knowledge. Perceptual knowledge is the knowledge obtained through sense organs. The perceptible world is the only reality. The things which are perceived by sense organs are the only reality. The things which are not perceived by sense organs are not real. The Sarvakas rejects the validity of inference and testimony because inference and testimony cannot give us certain knowledge. According to the Sarvaka system, matter is the only reality, and mind and consciousness are also the products of matter. Matter is of four kinds, namely earth, water, fire, and air. The Sarvakas rejects ether because the existence of ether is not perceived. Whatever is not perceived is not real. Therefore, for the Sarvakas, there is no God, no soul, no afterlife, and no before life. This is the only life. Heaven and hell are not real because they are not perceived. Therefore, Sarvaka system is also known as Indian materialism. Sarvakas are hedonists because, according to them, pleasure is the ultimate goal of human life. For the Sarvakas, attainment of maximum pleasure and avoidance of pain as much as possible should be the aim of human life. The ethical ideal of the Sarvakas is eat, drink, and be merry. Now we will be discussing another very significant system of Indian philosophy, that is Jaina system. The word Jaina is derived from the Jina, which means conqueror, one who has conquered all kinds of passions and desires and obtained emancipation. The Jainas believe in 24 Tirthankaras or founders of the faith. Rishabhadeva was the first and Mahavira was the last Tirthankara. The Jainas do not believe in God but adore the liberated soul or the Tirthankaras who attained liberation through their own efforts by conquering all passions and desires. The Jainas classify knowledge into immediate and immediate. Immediate knowledge is again divided into three kinds: avadhi, manaparaya, and kabbalah. Mediate knowledge is divided into two: mati and sruto. Knowledge again may be divided into two kinds: pramana, or the knowledge of a thing as it is, and naya, or the knowledge of a thing in its relation. The Jainas admit three pramanas: perception, inference, and testimony. According to Jaina philosophy, every object possesses innumerable qualities, and we, the ordinary people, can know only some of those qualities. Only the omniscient being can have an immediate knowledge of an object with all its qualities through Kabbalah Jnana. Human knowledge is relative and limited, and hence all our judgments are also relative and limited, and therefore all our judgment should be qualified by Syad or maybe. This epistemological and logical view of the Jainas is called Syadvada. The metaphysical notion that reality has innumerable characters is called Anekantavada. Anekantavada and Syadvada are the two sides of the same reality, realistic and relativistic realism. The Jainas believe in the reality of the world and hold that the world consists of two kinds of realities, namely Jiva and Ajiva. Jiva has life and consciousness, while Ajiva is devoid of life and consciousness. There are many Jivas and are classified into Mukta and Badha. Ajiva, on the other hand, is divided into five kinds: matter, time, space, motion, and rest. Like other schools of Indian philosophy, Jainism also believes in liberation as the highest ideal of life. According to the Jainis, the bondage of the soul is due to its association with the body or matter. Due to ignorance, the soul comes to be associated with matter and thus suffers. This ignorance can be removed by right knowledge, so right knowledge is the cause of liberation. This right knowledge is produced by the faith in the teachings of the Tirthankaras. It is the right conduct which perfects the right knowledge. Hence, right knowledge, right faith, and right conduct together constitute the path of liberation. These are the three jewels of Jainism. Now, we will be discussing the very significant system of Indian philosophy. Buddha system is one of the Nastika systems of Indian philosophy. Gautama Buddha is the founder of this system. Buddha was primarily an ethical teacher and was an A reformer. Gautama or Siddhartha was devastated with grief of the sight of disease, old age, and death. He renounced the world to find out the remedy for suffering. He discovered its cause and also the way to stop it, and he became enlightened or Buddha. Buddha's teachings are pragmatic. He was not interested in discussing metaphysical concepts which have no practical utility. Instead of this, Buddha tried to enlighten people on the important questions of sorrow, its cause, its cessation, and the path of leading to its cessation. The answer to these questions given by Buddha have come to be known as the Four Noble Truths. These Four Noble Truths are: there is suffering, there is a cause of suffering, there is a cessation of suffering, there is a way to the cessation of suffering. The first noble truth is life is full of pain and suffering. Birth is painful, disease is painful, old age is painful, death is painful, union with the unpleasant is painful, separation from the pleasant is painful, and craving that is unsatisfied is also painful. Nobody can be exempt from suffering. The second noble truth relates to the cause of suffering. Every event has a cause. Everything in this world is conditional, relative, and limited. Being a fact of our experience, suffering also has a cause. The origin of life suffering is explained by Buddha in the light of his theory of dependent origination or pratitya samutpada. This theory means that nothing is unconditional. According to Buddha, suffering has a causal chain which has 12 links. These are Jara Jati, Bhava, Upadana, Trishna, Vedana, Sparsha, Saddhatana, Namarupa, Vijnana, Sanskara, and Avidya. Therefore, according to Buddha, ignorance of the truth is the root cause of suffering. The third noble truth is extinction of suffering. If ignorance is removed, suffering will also cease to exist. So there is a cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering leads to salvation, which is called nirvana in Buddhism. According to Buddha, the fourth noble truth is the ethical and spiritual path by following which suffering can be removed, and as a result, nirvana is attained. This path is eightfold. These are right vision, right resolve, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. By following these paths, one can attain nirvana, which is the highest goal of human life. But later on, the followers of Buddha developed the philosophical theories, and as a result, there are four schools of Buddhism: Madhyamika or Siddhavada, Yogasara or Vijnanavada, Sutrandika and Vaibhasika. The division of Astika and Nastika schools has given significance to Indian philosophy. Both these two schools, Astika and Nastika, have their own views and notions. They criticize and influence each other. These schools have acted and reacted upon each other. Their mutual influence acts as a means of broadening the basis of thought. Different systems of Indian philosophy develop within their respective circles by influencing one another. In fact, it is by constant mutual criticism that different philosophical thought came into existence. Now we'll be discussing the highlighting points of this unit, that is Astika and Nastika divisions of Indian philosophy. Indian philosophy has been divided into two broad divisions, Astika and Nastika. The Sanskrit word Astika is derived from the verb asti, meaning there is or exists, which means that which exists. Nastika is the negative of Astika. In Indian philosophy, Astika is that system or schools which believes in the authority of the Vedas, and Nastika is that system or schools which doesn't believe in the authority of the Vedas. There are six Astika schools, namely Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta, and three Nastika schools, namely Sarvaka, Jaina, and Buddha. The Nyaya is allied to the Vaisheshika system, which is called Samana Tantra or similar philosophy. Nyaya develops logic and epistemology, while Vaisheshika develops metaphysics and ontology. Vaisheshika believes in seven categories or padartha. These are substance, quality, action, generality, particularity, inherence, and non-being. The Mimamsakas deals mainly with the Vedic injunctions about rituals, the rules of interpretation of the text. There are two main schools of Mimamsa system. founded by Kumari Lavhatta and Prabhakara. They are the two main commentators of Jaimini's Mimamsa Sutra. Though Badarana's Brahma Sutra is the basic text of Vedanta system, which systematizes the Upanishadic teachings. Subsequently, many writers wrote commentaries on the sutras. Among those commentators, Sankara and Ramanuja are of great importance. Sarvaka is also known as Indian materialism because according to the Sarvaka system, matter is the only reality and mind and consciousness are also the products of matter. Matter is of four kinds, namely earth, water, fire and air. The Jainas believes in 24 Tirthankars. Rishabhadeva was the first and Mahavira was the last Tirthankara. For the Jainas, the three jewels or three ratnas, right knowledge, right faith, and right conduct, constitute the path of liberation. Buddha tried to enlighten people on the important questions of sorrow, its cause, its cessation, and the pain leading to its cessation. The answers to these questions given by Buddha have come to be known as the Four Noble Truths. There are some books which to be consulted for this unit Astika and Nastika divisions of Indian philosophy. These are C.D. Sharma's book, that is A Critical Survey of Indian Philosophy, S. Chatterjee, D.M. Datta's book, An Introduction to Indian Philosophy, J.N. Sinha's book, that is Outlines of Indian Philosophy, P.T. Raju, The Philosophical Traditions of India, Radhakrishnan book, Indian Philosophy, Volume 1 and 2, Hiriana's book, Outlines of Indian Philosophy. Thank you.